Genetic Engineering and GMOs, Quarter 2, Lesson 4. Class, have you ever heard of GMOs or biotechnology in the news or on social media? Now, what comes to your mind when you hear those terms? Okay, so biotechnology actually means using living things like plants, animals, microorganisms to make products that help improve our lives. For example, scientists use biotechnology to make medicines, improve crops, or even create pest resistant plants. Now, let's learn a few important terms that scientists use in this field. First, we have biotechnology. It is the use of biological techniques and engineered organisms to make products or plants and animals that have desired traits. Restriction enzymes. It is used in cutting DNA strands into fragments with sticky ends or blunt ends that can join with other DNA fragments. We have gel electrophoresis. It separates DNA fragments by size. Recombinant DNA technology. This is the combination of DNA fragment with the DNA from another source called exogenous DNA. Now, after learning about these terms, now let's move to the next slide, which is this image. Now, it shows the gel electrophoresis or how the gel electrophoresis works. Now, it's a method of scientists used to separate pieces of DNA. Imagine the gel-like, jelly-like filter inside a tray. This one here is a tray filled with liquid or solution. Scientists put DNA samples into small slats at one end of the gel. So you can find some red line here, this small red line here, which is an arrow. Okay, so these are the DNA samples or the small slats of DNA samples. Now, when they turn on the electricity or the DNA pieces, which are likely negative, this electrode here that is negative sign, start to move forward to the positive side. As you can see the red arrow here. While larger ones move slower and stay near the top. But the smaller DNA pieces move faster and farther. Now from here down here. Now, after some time, the DNA forms bands or lines showing pieces of different sizes, like a DNA barcode. Now, look at here on the right. Now, in short, um, gel electrophoresis separates DNA fragments by size using electricity. Okay, now let's look at another process related to genetic modification. We have gene cloning, DNA sequencing, and polymerase chain reaction or PCR. Gene cloning is the production of large numbers of identical recombinant DNA molecules. Now, DNA sequencing is used to identify the DNA sequence of cloned recombinant DNA molecule to further study. Gene cloning, it's like making many identical copies of a piece of DNA. Now, scientists do this when they want to study or use a specific gene repeatedly. DNA sequencing, it means reading the ordered letters like the A, T, C, and G in a DNA molecule. It helps scientists understand what the gene looks like and what it does. Now, the PCR or the polymerase chain reaction, it's a way to make millions of copies of a small piece of DNA so scientists have enough to study or test. It's like photocopying DNA over and over again. Okay? Now, in summary, gene cloning copies DNA pieces. DNA sequencing reads them, and PCR multiplies them quickly. Now, look at this picture. This picture shows how scientists make recombinant DNA, which means combining DNA from two different sources. And in this case, human DNA and bacterial DNA. Take a look at this human DNA or the human cell. Scientists find the gene that makes the human growth. Now, this cut out, they cut out that gene and they use special scissors called restriction enzymes to cut the DNA. Now, take a bacterial cell. Inside it, there's a small circular piece of DNA called a plasmid. And they cut the plasmid using the same enzyme, so it has matching sticky ends. And then they insert the human gene into the plasmid, and this forms the recombinant DNA, a mix of human and bacterial DNA. Then, they put back the recombinant DNA back into the bacterial cell, and that the bacteria now carry the human gene and can make human growth hormone naturally as they grow and multiply. In other words, scientists combine a human gene with a bacterial plasmid, and the bacteria produce a useful human protein like a mini factory.
So, what is genetic?
Now, the easiest method of plant genetic modification, this is the first type of genetic modification because we have three type of genetic modification. First is plant, and then animal, and then microbes. So we will tackle first the plant genetic modification, wherein this is the easiest method of plant genetic modification used by our wandering ancestors. And until today is simple selection. That is genetically heterogeneous population of plants. Okay? So, plant is inspected and superior individuals are the plants with the most desired traits like improved palatability and yield are selected to continued propagation. Example, production of pest-resistant plants. Next, we have animal genetic modification. They use of naturally occurring hormones such as recombinants and biotechnologies to enhance reproductive efficiency without affecting the genome, and biotechnologies to enhance expression of desirable genes. Modern breeds of livestock differ dramatically from their ancestors as a result of breeding strategies. Now, genetic modification of microbes. Microorganisms play significant roles in food production. They serve as primary and secondary roles in food fermentation and in food spoilage, and they can produce enzymes or other metabolites used in food production and processing. Now, the goal of this modification using microbes is to increase the microbe dependent food production. The protein produced by BT corn selectively targets caterpillars within the order of Lepidoptera. This order includes several moth species harmful to corn, as well as other non-target butterfly species such as the monarch. So, maapektuhan pa rin yung mga dili mga pest, no? Now, to create a Bt crop variety, plant scientists select the gene for particular Bt toxin and insert it into the cells of corn or cotton plant at the embryo stage. The resulting mature plant has the Bt gene in all its cells and expresses the insecticidal protein in its leaves. Now, farmers select parents with desirable characteristics and breed them together. From their offspring, they again choose those with the best combination of traits and breed them together. The process is repeated over many generations, and this process is called selective breeding. This picture shows how different vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, kale, and cauliflower all came from one original plant called Brassica oleracea or the wild mustard. Long ago, farmers noticed that some wild mustard plants had special traits: bigger leaves, thicker stems, or more flowers. They selected and bred plants with the traits they liked the most. Over many generations, these selected traits produce new kinds of vegetables. For example, selecting plants with big terminal buds made cabbage, no? Selecting lateral buds made Brussels sprouts. Selecting thick stems made kohlrabi. And selecting large leaves made kale. Selecting stems and flowers made broccoli. And selecting flower clusters made cauliflower. All these vegetables are cousins that came from the same ancestor plant, and it changed through selective breeding, not genetic engineering. Now look at this picture. It shows how selective breeding and genetic modification can help animals grow better or produce more food. On the left, the chickens show how farmers have bred them over time to grow bigger and faster. The smallest ones are the young, while the biggest ones have been selected to grow quickly and have more meat. Now, on the right, the pig and her piglets show how breeding and science help increase the number of healthy offspring and improve growth and productivity. Farmers and scientists choose animals with the best traits like fast growth or more meat and breed them so future animals have those same useful traits. Now, what are some benefits of GMOs? It involves artificial manipulation, modification, and recombination of DNA or other nucleic acid molecules in order to modify an organism or population of organisms. Now, the benefits of GMOs, it is used in applications on various areas like medicine, focusing on discoveries of medicine to cure and improve human health. Example, uses of the genetic engineering is to make insulin for use of diabetic persons. Making insulin for people with diabetes. Before kasi, genetic engineering is ang ginagawa natin, ang insulin was taken from the pancreas of pigs and cows. Now, it helped the diabetic people, but it was so hard to produce and sometimes it caused allergies. Now, with genetic engineering, scientists take the human insulin gene and put it into bacteria. The bacteria then act like small factories producing human insulin safely and in large amounts. Genetic engineering made it possible to produce human insulin using bacteria instead of getting it from animals like pigs and cows. Number two, to make growth hormone to treat dwarfs. Genetic engineering helps us humans to make growth hormone. Now, some children kasi are born with very little or no growth hormone. So they don't grow normally and remain much shorter than other kids. Before genetic engineering, growth hormone was taken from the brains of people who had died, which was unsafe and very limited. But nowadays, with genetic engineering, scientists can insert the human growth hormone gene into bacteria. And that bacteria produces safe, pure human growth hormone for medical use. Genetic engineering helps doctors treat children with growth problems by giving them human made growth hormone that works just like the natural one. Number three, to prepare vaccines. Um, Children who have trouble growing, di ba, gumagamit ng growth hormone. Now, before, doctors had a hard time finding enough growth hormone and it wasn't safe. Now, scientists use genetic engineering to teach bacteria how to make human growth hormone. And this bacteria produces it safely in large amounts. Genetic engineering helps make medicine that helps children grow normally and healthy. Number four, to make plants resistant to disease. Example, tomato mosaic virus causes great damage. To help plant resist the diseases, scientists change the plant's genes so that it doesn't get sick easily from viruses, bacteria, or fungi. For example, in the picture, the tomato plants can get a disease called tomato mosaic virus, which makes the leaves curly and damages the fruits. Through genetic engineering, scientists can create tomato plants that are resistant to this virus, meaning they stay healthy and produce good fruits even when the virus is around. Number five, to make pigs, cows, or fish grow faster. The another use of genetic engineering is to make animals grow faster. In simpler terms, scientists can change the genes of animals like pigs, cows, or fish so that they grow bigger and faster than normal. For example, in the picture, the larger fish were genetically modified to grow faster than the smaller or normal fish. This helps farmers produce more meat or fish in a shorter time, which can increase food supply. 6. Higher production of milk by cows. Genetic engineering can help cows produce more milk. In simpler terms, scientists can change the cow's genes so that it can make more milk than normal, sometimes up to 20% more. This means farmers can get more milk from each cow, helping to increase food supply and make dairy products more available. 7. To make pigs with less fat, leaner meat. Now, this image shows that genetic engineering can make pigs produce meat with less fat. Now, scientists can change a pig's genes so that it grows leaner meat, meaning more muscle and less fat. Now, in the picture, the control meat is from a normal pig, more fat. Now, the GMO meat is from a genetically modified pig, less fat. This helps produce healthier meat that's better for people to eat. Gene therapy. When a gene is inserted into a sick person. This image explains the gene therapy in a simple way. Now, gene therapy is a medical treatment where a healthy gene is put into a sick person's cells to fix a disease. Here's what happens. Stem cells, or special cells that can grow into many types of cells, are taken from the patient's bone marrow. A vector, like a harmless virus, is used to carry the healthy gene into those stem cells. The modified stem cells, now with the new healthy gene, are put back into the patient's body. This helps the person's body start making healthy cells to fight or correct the illness. Genetic engineering is the process by which pieces of DNA are transferred from one organism to another. Example, from human to bacterium, from bacterium to plant, human to sheep, and fish to plant. Another example is a tobacco plant glows in the dark. Scientists took a gene from a firefly, the one that makes it glow in the dark, and put it into a tobacco plant. As a result, the tobacco plant also glowed in the dark. This experiment, done in 1986, showed that genes from one living thing can work inside another, proving that scientists can transfer traits like glowing from one species to another. Now, another benefits of GMOs was already discussed a while ago. Okay, this one are another example of GMO, Miyazaki mangoes. And then we have this bacterial and human cell, the one we called recombinant DNA. Then this one is a golden rice that is genetically modified and rich in vitamin a drought resistant seeds of corn. We have these tadpoles which flourish. Tadpoles modified with jellyfish genes show promise as a faster and less expensive way to detect pollution than traditional methods. Then featherless chickens. It grows better in warm countries. And of course, no need for cooling. Luminous cat. These are genetically engineered to make their blood cells resistant to feline immunodeficiency virus or FIV, the virus that causes feline AIDS. And oil-eating bacteria. Of course, a strawberry with antifreeze. This antifreeze is a chemical found in a fish living in cold water to avoid its blood freezing. Now, gene able to make this antifreeze was introduced into strawberries to avoid them from mushing up when frozen, but they become blue. Enviropig, pig manure is high in phytate, no, a form of phosphorus. So when farmers use the manure as fertilizer, the chemical enters the watershed and causes an algal blooms that deplete oxygen in the water and kill marine life. So sometimes this enviropig is kanang causes also negative, no, to our environment. But in the other hand, this enviropig is a product of GMO. It has been genetically altered to better digest and process phosphorus. Now, the aim is to produce the enzyme phytase in salivary glands to enable more effective digestion of phytate, now the form of phosphorus found in pig feed ingredients like corn and soybeans. And we have this venomous cabbage. Now, this genetically modified cabbages would produce scorpion poison that kills caterpillars when they bite leaves. But the toxin is modified, so it isn't harmful to humans. Banana vaccine. When people eat a bite of a genetically engineered banana, which is full of virus proteins, their immune systems build up antibodies to fight the disease, just like a traditional vaccine. Now, when an altered form of virus is injected into a banana sapling, the virus genetic material quickly becomes a permanent part of the plant cells. Now, as the plant grows, its cells produce the virus proteins, but not the infectious part of the virus. And we have this transgenic cow. Scientists at Research have been developing techniques to make transgenic cows, and they've successfully generated cows that produce transgenic proteins in their milk. And we have this rat that is glowing. And then this Enviropig. Okay, so pineapple, red pineapple. Then seedless, papaya, seedless tomato, purple tomato. Then what are the um, possible hazards of genetic engineering? Before that, we have this called bioethics. Now, bioethics is the study of controversial ethics brought about by advances in biology and medicine. Now, bioethics is multidisciplinary. Now, it blends philosophy, theology, history, and law with medicine, nursing, health policy, and the medical humanities. And okay, let's go on to possible hazards of genetic engineering. First is risk for human health. Example, the higher chances for cancer, and risk for animal health, higher chances of infection, and risk of creating new microbes that are difficult to kill by antibiotics. Okay, what is your stand? This is your assignment. You write or you answer it using your science activity notebook. Number one, among the cited examples of GMO, which do you think is the most beneficial? Second is, if you are a farmer, would you take the chance of growing crops that are pest resistant? Why or why not? Number three, considering the knowledge gained in genetic engineering, would you try to patronize GMO fruits and vegetables? Why or why not? Now, is creating or altering genes of an organism a form of blasphemy to the creator or God? Why? Is genetic engineering morally permissible or not? So, this is 25 points. So, thank you and God bless.